Dun 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 dun
Woo!
dun 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 dun.
We're terrible. Welcome back to another episode of Doctor Who Dis! I am your host, Larry the Bearded Wonder. With me tonight is Adele, who's on that side of my screen, and Josh, that's on that side of my screen. And we're talking about World War III tonight. So let's dig in. First impressions, highlights, favorite bits. Adele.
Oh God. Oh God. Well, what was I doing again?
First impressions. What did you like about it?
First impressions. Man, let me tell ya, I didn't like anything about this episode besides the fact that it was the ending to the first part of it. It was closure. That was the highlight of the episode for me. Well, actually, the highlight of the episode for me was the ongoing Harriet Jones joke.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not really
MP for Flight L
Harriet
North.
Jones. Yes, Harriet Jones, MP for Flight L North. And then the Ricky Mickey thing still going.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Oh man. So when they explode the alien,
Yeah. That was
I
good.
fucking love that bit. Jackie's pulling out all the fucking vinegar shit in Mickey's cabinet, and the dog's like, "You kiss this man?"
yeah, but before that, somebody asked him, "Do you have anything with vinegar in your kitchen?"
Right.
And he goes, "I don't know." And Rose just starts naming stuff off and where it's at. Like that just kind of killed me a little bit. I was like, that's how it goes.
Pretty much.
You never know what's in the kitchen.
Sweetie, do we have this? I don't know.
Right.
But also the fact that they didn't wash the alien guts off of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm wondering
Yeah.
how much of a pain in the ass that cleanup was for Mickey to clean up his fucking kitchen in his apartment.
Man, I would have just gotten a new apartment. I don't know what my
Right.
would have been. I probably would have just slipped out in the middle of the night, packed up my shit, and fucking left. Too
That's a
much.
security deposit you can kiss goodbye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have
Even
to
if you
call the
clean it up, it's
landlord,
still not
like,
going to be good enough.
explain what the fuck happened to the door.
Yeah.
That's hard too. Oh, the other thing that I liked about the two episodes was, I mean, it's the fact that the alien they fart.
Uh-huh. The gas exchange.
Yes.
Yes. It just made me giggle a couple times because I'm like 12 apparently. That's it though. I have a lot of complaints about this episode.
And Josh.
I have a lot of complaints about the episode too, a little bit, but my favorite parts were I want to say the story was my favorite part, but it wasn't. I like the idea. I just don't think it was really fleshed out as well as it could have been. I liked that it was the second part to the first episode. I thought the first part was much better than the second part. I thought it kind of fizzled out, especially about a third of the way through. Because after the initial, like, getting back into the story, when the aliens were, they expose themselves, and then they're attacking everybody, and then they, like, kind of, like, defeat them in a way, and then there's more. I'm just kind of like, where's this gonna go?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like that was kind of my first impressions on it. I like I said, I like the episode. That's because it was the second part of the first one, but I'm not in love with the episode, I would say.
Yeah. There are parts of the episode I like. There's some things we don't talk about yet. We'll get there. But I will say though, outside of Doctor Who though, there's some setup for the Slitheen family. makes a return in one of the Outside spin-off series, and you get more of them there as well.
Okay.
So you actually get to get a little bit more with them outside of dealing with just the Doctor. So seeing them deal with another protagonist later is kind of interesting. I kind of giggle and I kind of appreciate the fuck up that, you know, the assumption that Slitheen was the race. Like, no, that's our surname.
Yeah.
Family business. Blow shit up, sell it off.
Right.
But you know, you also get a very on the nose look at the Doctor's process for resolving any problem. Like, yeah, there's no way they can get in. Yeah, but how are we going to get out? Oh,
right. Yeah, he's not thinking ahead. Like,
one bridge to burn at a time.
right.
So, but you know, and that's the thing. It's a thing. It's always a thing in progress. The thing is in progress.
Right.
But yeah, we also got a mention of, and Josh, you probably you didn't mention this. I'm a little surprised, and I'm wondering if you noticed. We saw the return, at least on screen, of something from Classic Who, which was Unit.
Oh, yeah. It's been a little time since I watched the episode, so yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
cool.
Unit is still around and kicking.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, that kind of stuff is cool. I like that kind of stuff when those little throwbacks, Easter eggs, things to that.
So, but yeah, we finally found out why he couldn't shake the feeling that he's heard that name, Harriet Jones. Where do I know that name from? So, we now know that Harriet Jones is the Prime Minister.
Right.
I'd vote for her.
Right. But yeah, you're right though. It's kind of a fizzle out episode. It really is.
I think it wound up a lot in the first one, and it just didn't keep it going enough in the second episode. It really, like, even the trailer for the second episode, the teaser for the second episode on the first episode, it was almost anticlimactic to watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, okay, well, I kind of knew that was going to happen, but why did you show it to me here? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I have a complaint.
Yes.
Okay, so they shot a fucking missile, right? It was a missile?
Yeah.
What was that? It was a missile. They shot a fucking missile at the building, and they hid in a closet. They put themselves in a closet and walked out alive. No, I'm sorry. There is no fucking way on God's green earth that you're gonna survive a missile being launched directly at the building you're in by hiding in a closet and holding each other and hoping for the best. That just doesn't happen in real life. Like, come on now.
Keep in mind the room though too.
It was a safe room.
Had some, yeah.
It had like all the panels that shut.
3-inch steel enclosure all the way around.
It was made for that. That was the.
Yeah, but still, no. I don't think. I really don't think that was possible. Even with the steel.
So, but you think everything else in the episode's possible?
Oh yeah, those weird ET looking bug-eyed aliens, absolutely.
The Raxacoricosaurus.
I got one in my basement.
I mean, it's a point well taken though, because it does kind of like. I understand the idea of the safe room. I mean, that would be, you would think that they would have those rooms, they would exist, or something very similar. And like, I'm sure the White House has it. You know, we know they have like a P-lock and all that kind of stuff that where, you know, they can go into. And I'm sure that the Parliament building has, it's a huge building, so I'm sure that they've got something like that in there.
At work, all we have is a bathroom to go into.
Yeah, because we're not important people, so you know all we got is a little. When I worked at Taco Bell, we had a cooler that we used to go into, and like a tornado would come.
Yeah, lock the door and go sit in the bathroom and hope for the best.
Yep.
Pretty much. So, well, here's a better question then, and one that we haven't really hit on thus far, but here's a good place for it. What would you have changed? How would you have
Oh.
written the end of this two-parter?
All right, Adele, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the alien still would have exploded in Mickey's apartment because that was glorious to me. But the whole rest of the episode, I would like to see like some sneaking around, and I'd like to see some stabbing.
I
I
can see
would've
a
liked-
trend here. Yeah.
I would have liked to see the alien stabbed to death personally.
And Josh, what would you have changed? How would you
I
have
would-
written off part 2?
I would have had some more peril for the main characters, I think, instead
Yeah.
of just like been so easy for them to overcome these, the aliens. Even to Adele's point, like stabbing, I think she's like you're thinking like she wants to see more, of the action kind of happening.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Like there is this kind of feeling in the episode, like I said, it's very anticlimactic, especially after the first like 10 minutes. It just kind of was rolling down a hill. There are some little things here and there, like the missile hitting the building. It almost like it was like someone else wrote it in
Yeah.
to kind
Well,
of like,
if you-
okay, how do we end this? They kind of like wrote themselves into a corner almost.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Rose and the Doctor and Harriet really spent the majority of that episode in that single room. That was it.
Yeah. And so like to me it was honestly kind of almost boring in a way.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, when's this going to happen? When, are you kidding me? My wife and I are watching it, and I think my wife is kind of like turned off by Who now. She's like, oh, no, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm like, every show has these episodes though.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is what, the 4th episode now, or 5th?
Fifth.
I mean, the first 4 were really good. I mean, and then this one's just kind of like, okay, well, it's all right. It's not firing on all cylinders. They tried some stuff. It didn't work,
Right.
So hopefully we'll
I
pick
mean,
it back up.
Stabbing aside, touching on what you were saying, more interaction with the aliens in the second episode would have been nice. And instead, it's just Mickey and whatever her name is, that bitch I don't like, and then Rose, Harriet, and the Doctor all going back and forth, and it's like they're flipping back and forth because they're on the phone. Like, that was really... Man, it was hard to pay attention. I knew I had to pay attention because we were going to be doing this, which is why I did. But
No, I think you're right.
I think
too,
you're
though.
right.
One of the highlights for me, honestly, was the back and forth between the Slitheen and the Doctor when they're right at the doorway of the cabinet room. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was good.
That shit had some comedy gold in there. And I would have loved some more of that back and forth between them. So, but it is kind of a light episode. There's not a big ton to it really, unfortunately. But I honestly, I think I remember this episode a little rosier than it is.
The nostalgia of it is
Yeah,
better than
it's been a long hot minute since I've watched this particular. So, but
I mean, I will say the end of the episode, there was some drama that my attention was drawn back to the show at the end of the episode when Mickey's sitting there and he's like, how did they do this? It all just disappeared, and he's sitting there talking to the Doctor, and then Rose's mom comes and Rose is out there and she's like, can you keep her safe? Da, da, da. And then the thing that caught my attention was Rose is like, it's a time machine. I can be gone for 10 seconds and come back and, have been gone for, such and such period of time. And then Jackie, that's that bitch's name. Jackie, they disappear and it goes like a dying seagull. It disappears, and then she counts to 10, and she looks at Mickey, and she's like, see, 10 seconds, and they're not back, and then she just walks away. Like, that ending was I don't feel like it really fit the episode, but I also
No.
feel like it needed to happen. Like that confrontation needed to happen to build the Rose, Jackie, the Doctor storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say Mickey did kind of grow in this episode. Like he wasn't as much of a pussy. He got better.
Yeah.
He's understanding a little bit more that the universe is bigger and that things happen, and he's growing as a character. So I guess that was important in the episode. But I mean, all in all, I feel like this was really, I know it was the second part to an episode, but it kind of just felt like a filler episode to me.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the lighter.
I think it helped the overarching story,
Yep.
but the story between the two episodes just didn't really pan out as well as I thought it would.
Yep.
But the overarching story, it does highlight the peril that Rose is in, and this is dangerous, like what they're doing, and it's not like just like, oh, we're just gonna like do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm. But any closing thoughts before we wrap? It's like you said, it's a light episode, but it deserves to be touched on. But closing thoughts, Josh.
Not too much. Like I think I just kind of said I like it for the overarching story of the show more than I like it for the story in between the two episodes.
Right. Adele?
I was disappointed.
Sufficient. So
I will say though, when I watched this through the first time, I remember I was like 18. I was like 18, 19, right? So it would have put me like right around 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. And I feel like it was better when I was able to watch both episodes consecutively. I feel like it built better that way than waiting a week and then watching that next episode. I feel like it built. If you watch them together, it builds, and that first episode is super intense, and then the next episode just naturally comes down if you watch them together. But separated like by a week, nah.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I
and that's
mean,
maybe that's how they were actually made together, and then written together, and maybe they did this artificial cut in the middle. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like it, honestly. Like there's just like, it feels like that first episode got chopped, and then I feel like the World War III, I feel like you're just all of a sudden thrown back in. Like it's intense and then it's not. Like
That's fair.
Like you're riding on the intensity from the last episode.
Yeah. Adele, I'm assuming, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you've probably never seen it, but Josh, I feel like you probably have at some point. You ever see the movie King Ralph?
Oh, yeah.
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 Jackie was in that.
Is she a better actress than that?
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, she was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like every British actor was in that. And then one American.
So, yeah.
They needed a bunch of Brits for that to kill them off.
But yeah, that's there you go. There's a little oddball for you. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to next week. I know Adele is thoroughly looking forward to next week. And Josh, did you watch the preview, the stinger?
I did, but honestly, for the life of me, it's not coming back to me.
Oh, that's all right. It's gonna all come back to you when we get to it, because you're gonna get, as a classic Who fan, you're gonna get some feels coming up, because we're finally getting into like some serious
good shit.
Yeah.
All right,
good shit.
It's really gonna come together with classic Who for the first time.
Cool.
So stuff to get excited about on next week's Doctor Who Dis. So with that said, let's close out, and I want to say thank you to Adele and Josh for coming and hanging out with little me and hanging out with you guys and doing this thing that we do. And we'll do it again next week on next week's episode of Doctor Who Dis. Good night. Peace.
Bye.